14,500-year-old stone city, and could this really be an Ice Age civilization? Let's dive into this discovery. Wow, let's take a look at what Pillars of the Past just did. A YouTuber rediscovering an ancient city? That's pretty incredible. Huaca Prieta is a remarkable archaeological site located on the coast of Peru, offering a glimpse into one of the earliest known settlements in the Americas. Here is everything I know about the site and its location. The historical significance of Huaca Prieta. Well, Huaca Prieta, meaning Black Mound, is a prehistoric mound located in the Chicama Valley, near the city of Trujillo, Peru. It's actually part of the El Brujo archaeological complex. The site's name comes from its dark color, which is a result of centuries of accumulating ash and organic remains. Early occupation at the site dates back an astounding 14,500 years ago, making it one of the oldest human settlements in the Americas. And Huaca Prieta is most famous for the discovery of some of the world's oldest and most complex cotton textiles. The inhabitants were skilled weavers who created intricate designs of mythological figures like condors, snakes, and crabs, using really sophisticated twining techniques. Early agriculture at Huaca Prieta was pretty remarkable. Excavations have revealed that the people there cultivated crops such as avocados, squash and chili peppers, and possibly even corn, which suggests they were part of an extensive trading network that reached as far as Mexico. The inhabitants lived in subterranean pit dwellings and relied on both maritime resources like fish and shellfish, and horticulture for their daily needs. Interestingly, the lack of projectile points suggests they were not hunters of large animals, but instead relied on coastal resources. Huaca Prieta is situated right beside the Pacific Ocean in the Chicama Valley. So, government neglect, it's a big question, right? I have gathered significant information from my research. I can now provide a comprehensive answer to the question about why the Peruvian government might neglect Huaca Prieta, despite its historical importance. Here's a breakdown of the key points I found. When it comes to government funding and resource limitations, the search results confirm that while national and international legislation exists to protect Peru's heritage, it's often ineffective due to a lack of sufficient government funding and resources. One source notes that more than 1,000 of Peru's archaeological sites are at risk for lack of security and resources. This is a major systemic issue, not a specific problem with Huaca Prieta alone. Now, about competing priorities, Peru has a vast number of archaeological sites and the government must prioritize. The search results repeatedly mention Machu Picchu, which, due to its global popularity, receives a significant amount of attention and resources to manage the effects of mass tourism. Sites like Huaca Prieta, which are less known and lack the same commercial appeal, are not prioritized in the same way. So, let's talk about some of the challenges of the site itself. Huaca Prieta is, well, a mound that's made up of deep, stratified layers of organic material. This actually makes it a lot less visually spectacular for tourists when you compare it to, say, a stone citadel like Machu Picchu or even the impressive pyramids built by the Moche culture. The thing is, the earliest and most important findings are buried really deep, which means the site is fascinating for archaeologists, but honestly, probably not so much for the average tourist. This lack of, monumentality for public display might actually contribute to why it gets a lower priority when it comes to government investment in tourism infrastructure. Now, when it comes to preservation, my research shows that taking care of Huaca Prieta, and really, the larger El Brujo archaeological complex, isn't just up to the Peruvian government. The Huizi Foundation, which is a private, non-profit organization, has actually played a huge role in research and preservation at the complex. They've gone as far as building a world-class museum and managing the site itself. On top of that, organizations like the U.S. Embassy in Peru, through the Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservation, and SciArc, a non-profit that digitally preserves cultural heritage sites, have provided a lot of funding and support for different archaeological projects in the country, including some at El Brujo. So, all of this really suggests that the so-called neglect isn't total. Non-governmental groups are definitely stepping in to help fill the gap. So in summary, the government's perceived neglect is not really a deliberate act of disregard for Huaca Prieta. Instead, it's actually a complex issue that's rooted in a lack of widespread funding for cultural preservation, the challenge of managing a vast number of historical sites, and, honestly, a focus on sites with higher tourist revenue potential. The preservation work that is happening at Huaca Prieta is largely driven by private and international foundations, which, helps to bridge the funding gap. I have enough information to construct a comprehensive response that addresses the user's question from multiple angles. The perceived neglect of Huaca Prieta, which is one of the oldest sites in the Americas, is a complex issue rooted in a combination of systemic challenges facing Peru's cultural heritage. It's not so much a deliberate act of disregard, as it is a result of competing priorities, limited resources, and, the nature of the site itself. When it comes to lack of widespread funding and resources, Peru is home to an immense number of archaeological sites, over 1,000 of which are considered at risk due to a lack of security and resources. The government, with its limited budget, has to make some really tough choices about which sites to prioritize for funding, research, and conservation. This often means that well-known revenue-generating sites like Machu Picchu, which require extensive resources to manage mass tourism, end up receiving the lion's share of government attention. Now, considering the nature of the site, unlike the towering stone structures of the Inca or the monumental adobe pyramids of the Moche, Huaca Prieta is a massive pre-ceramic mound made up of centuries of accumulated debris, including ash, dirt, and shells. Its most significant and oldest findings, the textiles and evidence of early life, are buried deep underground. This honestly makes the site less visually spectacular for the average tourist and, a harder sell for developing the kind of infrastructure that would generate significant tourist revenue. The site is a treasure trove for archaeologists, but its appeal is definitely more academic than it is a destination for mass tourism. It's important to note that Huaca Prieta is not entirely neglected. Its preservation and research are largely sustained by a major private entity, the Weiss Foundation. This private, non-profit organization has really been a primary force behind the research, conservation, and promotion of the entire El Brujo archaeological complex, which includes Huaca Prieta. The foundation has built a world-class on-site museum and actively manages the complex, honestly taking on the role that might otherwise fall to the government. International organizations and foreign embassies also provide crucial funding for specific archaeological projects in Peru, helping to fill the gaps in government support. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Pillars of the Past.